Good morning, everyone. This is Megan from GoGPS, and today we're going to be taking a look at setting up some rules inside of the system. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Rules and Group section on the left-hand side, select Rules again, and it's going to pull up a list of default rules that are already set up in the system. Some of them may already be turned on, but for the most part, we have all of these ones here turned off. And we're going to go through each one of them and take a look at the definition of all of them, okay? So just keep in mind, if you are in base mode, you're not going to get any kind of information for the harsh braking, acceleration, or cornering, and that goes the same for seat belts, okay? That information is all pulled from the engine. So on base mode devices, will not get that information. Pro or Pro Plus, you will definitely get that information, okay? So we're just going to say for today that the vehicles that we're adjusting or we wanting to monitor the rules for are all Pro mode, okay? So to take a look at the harsh braking, acceleration, and cornering, it's all monitored by G-forces. So I'm just going to click the on button, and then it allows me to select what type of vehicles my fleet is compiled of, whether they're passenger cars, trucks and cube vans, or heavy duty. Now I want to just kind of point out here that as I'm selecting these different options, the G-forces that are calculated on the right-hand side here do change. Okay, so if we want something a little bit less sensitive, we're going to change that there. Something a little more sensitive, we're going to select it there. Okay, you also have the option to move the slider bar. Okay, that goes the same for down here. So that's a little bit higher on the truck, that's medium on the truck, that's low on the truck, and then the same thing for the passenger car. That's low, medium, and high. Okay, and you're going to have the same thing for the hard acceleration and harsh cornering. Okay. So the way that I want to think about, that I want to kind of explain how this works is all of a pendulum. So for forward and braking, it's the same sort of thing. So if you're looking at the pendulum sway one way, it's going to be affected for G-forces, and then swaying the other way, it'll be affected for G-forces. And that goes the same for harsh cornering too. It'll go side to side for that pendulum. Okay. Now, just by turning the on button or clicking the on button for these rules does not save them. You do have to make sure that you select your vehicle types, okay, and then click save in the top right corner, okay. So that covers those three top rules there. You do not have to turn them on. It's completely optional for you. Okay, so if you want, you can click yes. So since we've had this rule on, even if you've had it on for a month and you're just trying out the system, you have the option to turn off this rule. Going forward, it will no longer calculate that information and display it for you. Okay, so that's all that this is really saying. Okay, so I'm going to turn those off. Okay. The next one we have here is speeding. Okay, so if I choose the on button, it's going to automatically do speeding versus the posted road speed by 10 kilometers. If this is in miles, it'll be 6 miles per hour. Okay. If you wanted to maybe adjust this, you can use the slider bar and increase or decrease, or you could just type in the number. Okay, and this is again versus the posted road speed. So in Canada, if it is a 50 and the vehicle is doing a 60, okay, now that I've adjusted this to 10 over the posted road speed, it will count as a violation. Okay, and if the road was a 60 and you're doing 70, it's a violation. Okay, there is no distance, there is no duration added to this. It is all as soon as it's instantaneous, and that's all there is to it. Okay, so the same thing for this one here. You will have to click the save button to adjust the changes inside of the system. So I'm going to click save, and now that's being monitored in the software. Now, if you wanted to do maybe a couple of these, so you could have speeding versus the road speed or the posted road speed by 10 kilometers, or maybe you wanted to do another one by 15 or 20 or even 25 over the posted road speed. There is a little pencil button on the far right-hand side. If you select that option, it's going to create a custom speed rule, okay? So the first thing you're going to want to do is adjust the name. So this would be speeding greater than 20 kilometers an hour versus the PRS. So that's posted road speed. Okay. So generally, speeding inside of all databases is in red. Now you can adjust it to kind of intensify the severity of the speeding, okay? So you can either go for a purple or you can click the color bar and select a deep red color, okay? So I'm going to select that color there, choose OK. I want to make sure that this is visible on the map. I want to be able to see this when my vehicles are traveling. You do have the option to apply this to a specific group of vehicles. So if I click the drop down here, I do have all of my groups that I can select from, but I want to apply this for the entirety of the system. You can include comments in here so you can give a breakdown of the rule. I'm going to leave this blank because I feel the name of it really does explain what it is. Okay. Under the conditions tab, okay, it has add engine, add zone or zone type, add speed limit, add duration, add distance, and more. Okay, so what we're doing here, because we're customizing this rule, we want to edit what we currently have down below. Okay, so it says speed compared to speed limit data is greater than 10 kilometers. But the rule that we want to enforce is now 20 over. So there's a little paper here. Okay, if I hover over top, it says show the advanced conditions editor. If I select that, all I want to do is just adjust this number here from 10 to 20. So I'm going to locate that just down below, and I'm going to change that to 20 and see how it went ahead and adjusted that up here, which is great. This also has a duration of greater than 20 seconds. Now, again, you can give a little bit more leeway. You can give 30 seconds, you can give 50 seconds, 60. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to leave this the way that it is. Okay. Now, because it does have a speed and a duration, we can add a distance to this as well. So I would click the add distance button. Anything over 1 mile, okay, and then click add. Okay, and now that goes ahead and updates that inside of the system. And then from here, we can either click save so that the system just goes ahead and updates all this information, or we can add a notification option. So in here, you can do any of the email addresses that are already inside of your software. Okay, you can select any of those users, and you can do multiple users. So for an example, I'm going to choose Kevin here. I'm going to click the add button. Okay, so now Kevin is getting this email. I'm going to click the add email button again, and I'm going to add myself to this rule and add. Okay, so this is on every occurrence. I'm going to get a notification. So Kevin and I are both going to get notifications for any vehicle in our fleet that is speeding above 20 kilometers an hour above the posted road speed. Okay, we do have add alert button options. So there's a pop-up. It'll pop up on the right-hand side of your screen. We have an urgent pop-up, which will flash at you. And then we also have the log only, which at the top of the corner here, there's a little notification tab beside your email address, which that'll log the information in there for you. Okay. We also have an add driver feedback. You can choose to have the device beep at the driver to let them know. So some of our clients will do a 3-tier progression. So 10 over the posted road speed, 15 over the posted road speed, and then 20 over the posted road speed. And then when they go to add a driver feedback, they'll do beep 3 times for the greater than 10 over the posted road speed, beep 3 times rapidly for the 15 over the posted road speed, and then beep 10 times rapidly is the 20 over the posted road speed. Again, these are not necessary. It is completely customizable to you and how you feel that you need to alert your drivers. Okay. We also have text message, go talk, and change status. Those are all additional items. So if you have any questions about them, please feel free to contact myself or our sales department, and we can walk you through those. Okay. And then the more drop down has a web request assigned to a group, email to a group, a distribution list, and then assign as private or not private. Okay, again, those are a little bit more detailed, takes a bit more time to get into. So today we're just covering the basics. So if you have any questions about those, please let us know. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and now save the custom rule that we've created. And if I scroll down to the so I just want to point out that speeding greater than 10 is still there. We have not turned off that. We are keeping that rule. But if I scroll down to the bottom here, keep in mind we do a lot of testing for rules inside of the system. So I'm just going to find our speeding greater than 20 kilometers an hour versus the posted road speed. Okay, so all of these ones here that we're seeing down below, these are all advanced. We have things in here for DVIR, that's for the driver's inspections. We have ones here for inside of zones, exiting yards. The amount of rules that you can customize and create inside of the system are unlimited, okay? But I will kind of go back up to the top. We'll take a look at the rest of the rules that we have here. This one here is called seatbelt. Okay, so it's going to trigger anytime a seatbelt is not fastened or yeah, is not securely clicked together. Okay, so that's the same thing. As soon as the vehicle is doing greater than 10 kilometers an hour or 6 miles per hour, it will then automatically count as a seatbelt violation. Okay. There is an after hours usage. So based off of the work hours that you have set up in the system, anything outside of that window will be count towards a after hours. If you're unsure of what your work hours are, you can always choose to edit the work hours and it will take you to the page and you can see what your standard work hours are and then adjust accordingly. Click save and then go back to your rules. Okay, so I'm just going to go back here to our rules. Okay. This next one here is possible accident. Again, you're not going to get this if you're not in Pro mode or Pro Plus, so this is huge. So the possible accident is when the accelerometer detects a change in 2.6 gigs in any direction, and there's a speed drop that's included as well, okay? So this is huge. When we first set up clients, we like to have this turned on and have a email notification set up to send to the first person contact, okay? So if a vehicle gets into an accident, an email will be sent directly to the user. Okay. The next one we have here is idling. So this is longer than 15 minutes. Again, it is customizable in here. You can adjust this, or you can do sort of like an idling bucket. So 15 over, 20 over, 30 over. You can create as many custom idling rules as you would like. Okay. The next one we have here is late arrival, early leave. Okay, again, those are based off of zones for office type. Okay, and then as well as for your work hours. If you have zones set up for your drivers and their homes, if they are going home during the day and they're not allotted to, that can be monitored in here. Too much time spent at the office. Again, that's based off of the work hours. Anything, this one here is defaulted to 90 minutes. You can customize this and make it less. You could do say 30 minutes, 60 minutes. It's up to you. Okay. The next one here is long lunch. And again, that's based off of your lunch hours that are set up between specific times. So if you have anything between 11 and 2, that's longer than 60 minutes. Again, this isn't for everybody. It depends on what your company does and how you really want to get the information that is required for you. Okay. Right. The next one we have is fleet idling. So this is multiple vehicles that are idling in the same location for greater than 5 minutes. Again, that's a default. You can customize that to make that longer than 5 minutes. Okay. Engine light, battery drain, those two again are based off of information sent from the vehicle's engine information. Okay, so if an engine light is on, it will then pull a notification, and you can have that set up to either email somebody directly on occurrence, or you can have a report based off of that sent out. Same thing with a battery drain. If the battery gets down to 9 volts, it'll automatically count as an exception. Okay, so a violation has happened. An unauthorized device removal, that is if the GPS unit has been unplugged and then plugged back in at a later point. Okay, so the reason why it's not sending it as soon as the device loses power is because if it's not getting any power, it's not getting any information, so it can't actually send anything out. Okay, again, we do have other reports for like a watchdog report that can kind of do a workaround in that case that can monitor every so many hours instead of it being just when the device gets plugged back in. But the good thing is that it will calculate if there was any kind of movement for the vehicle. So if the unit was unplugged and the vehicle traveled so many kilometers or miles and then was plugged back in, you can see the last point where it was communicating, see how many kilometers or miles it traveled, and then the new place of connection. Okay, so that's always good to have. And we do like to turn on a notification for this one as well. Okay. Then there's also engine abuse. So this is a default that any RPMs over 7 grand, that to me is quite high. So customizing that to maybe make it 5 grand or even 4 grand would be great, but again, it's completely up to you. And then the last one is backing up when leaving. A lot of companies do not allow their vehicles to back up when leaving. So if that's something that you want to monitor, that is a rule that you can turn on. Okay. So then I'm just going to scroll down here. Again, these are all custom rules that we have set up in the system. We do some medium harsh, hard acceleration, harsh braking, and harsh cornering. Those are ones that GoGPS uses that are custom. Okay. Same thing with the seatbelt unbuckled, speeding over 125 kilometers. These are all rules that we create and that we use on a regular basis. Okay. So those are the rules that are set up in the system. If you have any questions about the rules that are defaulted or how to create custom ones that you're maybe not seeing inside of the software here, please feel free to contact myself or our service department, and we'd be more than happy to help you. I hope everybody has a great day, and that's everything.